day one of this particular session. Okay, so where we are going to discuss about the networks. Okay, so it's not only about the theory today. So with this particular introduction of the networks, I mean the theory which I'm going to say, I'm going to explain you the next, our duration of the course which we are going to do. That means the 16-week program which we have here. Okay. So let's first start with the topic. Then I will say you the details of what or how the structure is going to look like day by day, week by week, what we are going to discuss, all those, so that the expectation is clear from your end. Okay. Now let me first introduce this with this one particular keyword. Okay. So what is a network according to you? I mean, I can take up 2 to 3 answers. So whoever are interested, can you please come up and say me, what is a network according to you? I mean, it can be wrong. No need to be perfect. We are still on the day one. So I'm not expecting for the perfect answers, but I'm expecting answers. So anyone who wants to take a try, again, try. No need to.
It's interaction between the two entities.
End-to-end connection.
Correct. Okay. But okay, first answer which I got is interaction between two devices. Okay, any other questions? Thanks for this, whoever have said it. Sorry, I have missed your name, but thanks for the answer. But yeah, any others who wants to take?
Yeah, communication between two or more devices.
Communication between two or more devices. Excellent, thanks for it.
Collection of devices where they can each device can communicate with the other.
Okay, collection of devices. Okay, cool, wonderful answers. I mean, these 3 points summarize what is a network. Okay, so now I'll just combine those 3 points and explain it to you. Okay, so whoever have, I mean, don't know what is a network or just wanted to make a clear note on it. So networks is a collection of devices. That collection can be anything. Okay, at least 2 devices has to be there, 2 or anything more than 2. Okay, so 2 or more than 2 devices connecting together. Okay, it's not just about connecting. What they want to do, they want to share the data. Okay, so the purpose of connecting is to share the data. That data are different types. Okay, it's not always about network means internet. Okay, so that can be a voice data or a video data or the regular traffic which we have on the internet, which is all those browsing and every stuff. Okay, so now what if I have to define this one through examples? Okay, so right now I am somewhere in India. Okay, I'm somewhere in India. This is my laptop. Okay, I'm sitting before my laptop. Okay, and you guys, okay, I think there are around how many people in this session? Okay, 28. So it means 27 roughly. Okay, so 27 people are sitting in different parts from through their mobile phones or laptop across the globe. Okay. Okay, just assume there are 27 laptops. So that means whatever I am streaming right now, that means the voice which I am trying to get here is being distributed to those 27 PCs across the world. How it is done? Interesting. Interesting thing to know, which we are going to learn in the further weeks. Okay, I would ask you to have that curiosity and hold that curiosity for a few more days, because it's very interesting and you are going to learn all those interesting things in this particular course. That means how my data, that means whatever I am generating on my PC is getting reflected to you guys. Why only why only to you are 27 pieces, but not to everyone in the world? Right? Such questions and such curiosity will be there in your minds at this point of time. But yeah, by end of this course, you will have a clarity on why that is happening and how it is happening, and you will be one of the person who is going to dictate that. Dictate in the sense you are going to build these such a kinds of network, or you will be capable to build such kinds of network by end of this course. Okay, trust me on that. So now this is a network. Perfect. I mean, most of the people will agree to this statement that yes, right now all of we are in a global network. Okay. So now the next thing is it's not no need to be always this complex to be a network. Okay. So for example, right now I am connected to my headphones. Okay. Headphones to talk to you guys. Okay. And my headphones is connected to this my PC. Okay. Through a technology called as Bluetooth. Okay. Can I call this as a network? How many people agree and how many disagree? I mean, for any question, there can be an agreement or disagreement. How many people will agree and how many people will disagree? Let's take it. I mean,
I don't agree.
I agree, sir.
okay, okay. I have heard 2 to 3 voices of agree, one
Yeah,
voice of not
I
agree.
agree. I agree of it.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay,
Yes, sir. It's a network.
okay, great. Still, anyone who doesn't want to agree? I got one voice, and remaining all of them are yes, I agree. Come on, I mean, there is no perfect answer here. We are, I mean, there to learn. So
Yes, I
unless and until
agree.
agree, great,
Yes,
great,
I agree, sir.
great. Thanks for all the wonderful answers. I'm not sure who have said this. I don't agree. Um who is it? I mean, just wanted to understand your thoughts on the disagreement. That's it. Who was that? I don't know.
It's myself. It's myself,
Yes, yes.
Sridhar.
Yeah. Why don't you think this is a network?
Uh, I thought it's not a two-way communication. Whatever you are like speaking, right? But just it's a device that will make us to listen,
Mhm.
right?
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for your explanation. Okay, so now let's go back to our definition. Why to go to this point? Let's apply our definition to this particular topology. Okay, so what I said connecting the devices or connection of devices
Together
to
to share
what?
the data.
To share data, correct?
Yes.
So we need to connect something. That something can be anything, anywhere, anything. At the end of the day, the primary purpose is to share the data. So now here I am talking something on my headphones, which has been captured by the headset, and that is being shared to the PC, right? Through the Bluetooth network or Bluetooth technology. Am I right? So sharing is happening, right? And also the connection is there, right? Using the Bluetooth. So both the statements are correct. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
So now do you agree that this is a network, Sridhar?
Yes, yes.
I request to be on mute unless and until you have some questions. Thanks for that, because sometimes people might have some different background noises which can affect the quality of the course or the lecture. So I request you guys to be on mute unless and until you have some questions. Okay. Thank you. So now I hope everyone understood what is a network. Very simple. Okay. It's all about connecting the devices
Sharing the data.
to share the data. Okay. Purpose is sharing data.
Sharing data.
Okay. Task is to connect them. Okay. So this one is the responsibility, but how are we going to do it, or who is going to connect all of this stuff? Okay. So that is where
Means
the
only
network.
sharing, right?
Sharing. Correct. That is the
Only
purpose.
sharing only. Yes, sir.
Only sharing. Okay. So I have a file which you might want. So that is a sharing. or I'm speaking something which you want to listen. So that is sharing. Okay. Or I have a video which you want to stream or view. That is data. Okay. So the data has many types. Okay. When I say data, it's not just the websites and all. It can be anything. Okay. So now let's come to this thing of the responsibilities. That means what are you going to do in this network or as a network engineer? Okay. So there are so many other extensions of this. Okay, I don't want to go into that. But as a network engineer, because all of you guys, the 27 people have assembled here to know what is the responsibility of this network engineer, or how can I become a network engineer, or how can I crack network engineer roles in my interviews. Okay, so that is the reason why we all here, right? We all here to crack or make you guys to crack that interviews of roles with network engineer and network security engineer or network consulting engineer, whatever the names can be in. But at the end of the day, you guys are are looking for this value. Okay, out of this course, it's not about just studying, right? You need to have an output, and that output is to get a job. If you don't have one, or do a promotion, get a promotion or something. Okay, at the end of the day, you need some output out of it. Okay, with respect to this particular. So how are we going to do that? Okay, so if you have to be a capable network engineer, okay, I think my spelling is wrong. I'm very bad with the spelling, so please do adjust. So if you want to become a capable network engineer, so what are the things which you need to know? So you should understand about these networks to the core. Okay, all these days you are a active passive consumer of this networks. That means you are using these networks but you don't know how they work, or you might have the partial knowledge of how they work. Okay, but now you need to break that, and you have to be understanding what happened in the background behind the hoods and become the number one guy. Okay, in that position which you are looking for. Okay, so now understand about the networks. That's where the step one starts. Okay, step one is to understand. First thing is understand the different types of devices. Okay, so first thing is you need to know what are the different types of devices which you have. Just like for example, let's say tomorrow you want to buy a PC or a mobile phone. So how do you decide to buy the best? First of all, you need to know what are the available models which are present in the market. Then you take your budget or your situation. Okay, and according to that, you compare your necessities with the budget and the features which it is offering, and then you choose the best one and you pick that and you buy that. The same thing here. Okay, so whenever you want to build the networks, first thing is you need to know what are the different types of devices which are present in the networks, or what is them. Okay, so that's where we start discussing the stuff. Okay, the first thing which is there is clients. Okay, or I think it's how can I address this? Instead of saying clients, I think it's better if I say end devices. Okay, so in these end devices, 1 second. What is okay? In these end devices, okay, you have clients and servers. Okay, so what is a simple definition of a client? Okay, so basically, okay, as we go back to the definition of the networks, what is network? connection of devices to share the data. So in this, while sharing, one person will be a requester. That means someone has to initiate that particular connection, right? So one will be requester and one will be the server, which is serving that particular request. For example, let's say I have a file in my laptop. Okay. And I mean, we all have did this, right? For example, we go on a trip. Okay. And one guy with a nice iPhone will take all the pictures. And the moment the trip is completed, we go to that guy and always request for our pictures. Hey, please share the pictures, please share the pictures. So in this particular case, your mobile phone is going to be the client requesting some information. Okay. And the guy who have those images on his mobile phone is a server. Okay. So I mean, again, people might have a big picture of what is server and all XYZ, XYZ. Okay. It's always a simple definition. Okay. You have to make the thing simple so that you can understand them better. So server is something which is ready to share. Client is something which needs that data. That means which is the one which is requesting that data. Okay. So in this example also, which I have taken, okay. So can you guys spot who is server and who is client here? That means here I have my Bluetooth headset and I have my PC here connected over the Bluetooth. In this particular case, which is client and which is server, according to you guys? Again, I'm not looking for perfect answers, just answers. That's it.
Headphone will be client and PC will be the server. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any other question? Any
Yes,
other
sir.
perspectives?
Sir,
Computer is server.
client means sending a request to the server.
Or receiving something from the server.
Yes, sir. Yeah, vice versa. Yes, sir.
So everyone agrees to this point that the headset is the client and PC is the server. Everyone agrees?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone disagrees to this statement? That anyone thinks this is server and this is
Sir,
client?
It's
Sir, but
I think it's both the way, right? So one time it's one thing acts as a server and one thing acts as a client.
Correct.
sir, how to Bluetooth become a server? If it's
No,
not
Bluetooth is
request.
not the server. Sorry. Bluetooth
No,
is not the server.
sir, I mean to say how to Bluetooth is a client.
Sorry, Rahul, can you please repeat your question?
Sir, Bluetooth I don't think so कि Bluetooth इस time client है क्योंकि कोई request नहीं कर रहा है ना.
Bluetooth is never the client or server. Okay. Bluetooth is just a transport mechanism. That means this guy wants to send something, Bluetooth takes that data and sends it to the server. For example, let's say you want to send some parcel to me. Okay, either you can directly come and give it to me, or you can hand it over to the post box and they will give it to me. So what they are doing, the post box or the postman, is just taking the data and giving it to me. So those are the people who do the transport. Similarly, here this Bluetooth is a technology which is taking the data and giving it to the PC. That's it. Okay, it's not, and it's neither the client or neither the server. It is just a technology which is there between to support this data. That means from here to there. Okay.
But sir, a headphone is also not a client.
So that's where I'm coming. Okay. So it all depends on the traffic direction. Okay. So when I say, for example, at this point of time, with respect to what I have said, headphones, I am speaking, that is being given to the PC. So that means the data is getting generated at the headphones and that is being given to the PC. So that means the server is, in this case, like I'm talking and that is being received by the PC. So the headphone is a server and the PC is a receiver of it. So that will be the client. Now let's see the reverse case. Now let's say instead of speaking, I'm hearing songs on my headphones. In that particular case, the songs are getting played, I mean, downloaded or somewhere it's in the either it should be on the PC or it should be on the internet. So that is getting downloaded by the PC and that is being translated to the headphones. So in that particular case, the PC is going to be the server and the client is going to be the headphones. Okay. So that's how the definition changes. Okay, there is no static rule between this device or this type of device is a client and this type of device is a server. Okay, so depending on the situation and depending on the traffic, the device changes. Okay, so now I hope you guys understand the difference between the clients and servers. So clients are the requester of the data, they request, and the servers are the ones which serves for that request. Someone requests, someone serves. Whoever is requesting, that is client. Whoever is serving, that is server. Okay, agree? Any questions you have on this? And typically, just for your example, okay, these can be PCs, okay, your mobile phones. What else? Your servers can be the actual servers, okay, printers, because from the printers you do it, no? Yeah, this is what I can think of, but yeah, depending on the
Which gives the
situation.
results, those things will be the servers.
Correct. Wherever the results are stored and we are pulling out of, that is where the server is.
Okay.
Understand?
In some situations, the servers where they can't give the results, in that situation the server will be the client, and the opposite to the server will become the server.
I'm sorry, I didn't. Basically, you're saying
No,
if
no,
the services are not available on the server. Okay, I'll give you one example. Okay, to make it
no.
even more clear.
I'm just concluding previous your statement.
Correct.
That's what I said.
Yeah, correct. Okay. So just again, one more.
Whenever it works, it will be a server. Whenever it won't works, in that situation, it will change into the reciprocal format.
Correct. Okay, I'll give you an example to explain that statement also. For example, let's say here I am having the PC. Okay, so from my PC, I have requested something onto a server. So that server is there somewhere in the data center, somewhere. Either it can be in US or somewhere. But let's say I have requested for some 100 pieces of data. On this server, only 80 pieces are there. Okay, so let's not leave what those hundreds are, but only 100 is there. Remaining 20 is there on another server, which is there in the same data center. So when you see, according to the perspective of 100, that means in this case, this is client, this is server. Okay, but now this server don't have 20 more. It only have 80, but doesn't have those 20. So in that particular case, what happens is it will go and request those 20 services from the another server. In this particular case, this will be the client and this will be the server. Okay, so that's how the things goes. Okay, then it will get all those 20. Now it has all 180, sorry, 100, and then it will give that.
Then it will become a client, and automatically it will become another 20 will become a server.
As simple as that. If you see here, the same device, in one situation it is client and one situation it is server.
So it may get changes based on the situations.
Situation, correct.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Great, thanks for that. Let's go and look at the second type of devices which we have. Okay, so now in the second category, okay, so you see, most of this time we do connect to the internet wirelessly, because that is the most used way of connecting to the devices. Okay, but do you think everything is wireless from me to you? That means I am getting connected, my data is reaching to you. That means, is it directly traveling through the air and coming it to you? Wireless means through the air only, right? The answer is no. Okay, so at one point it get converged. Okay, so that means in my network, okay, I have my PC connected to my Wi-Fi. I have my mobile phone connected to my Wi-Fi. Okay, and let's say my father, my mother, my sister, my whatever it is, whoever is there in my, all those people are getting and connected to the device called as what? In our general terms, we call it as a home router. Okay, something like that. People will come and install in our homes. Okay, we call it as router, but technically speaking, okay, as a network engineer, it's an access point. So that means people are getting, so now when we go in the past, when we had the technology like Bluetooth, one device is able to connect to one device and share data. So if you want to connect, or for example, let's say you have two people who are who went to, I mean, in your trip, there are two people who took the images. Okay. So you come, like you went to the person one, you have taken all the pictures from them. Then you went to the person two, and you want it. So then what you do, you disconnect from this phone and you connect to this phone. Okay. So if you see this mechanism, this is good for a, like in the cases where you have two devices or you need to get the data from two devices. But now thinking about the internet, where you have millions, I think even billions of users getting connected day by day with these new technologies such as smart watches, um, what else, AI and everything. Now from millions, it even went to billions. Okay. So where you need to connect at a scale of billions, such a technology is not good. That means connecting one to one device. So you need to converge them. So that means if, for example, if this access point is not there, I'm going to discuss about the responsibilities of the access point in some time, but I'll just explain it to you. Okay, what if this one access point is not there, or we have not used this access point? How these devices which I have, I mean, showed here, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 devices can share the data. Okay, let me show it to you. Okay, so I think here I have 7, but if I draw 7, it is going to be too much of lines. So I'll just take 4 devices, or I'll just take 3 devices, and I'll increase the number slowly. Okay, so basically if I have 3 devices, so this is how the connections look like. That means the number of connections, if you see here, it's 3. 3 devices, 3. Now I got one more device. Okay, this is the case when, okay, I'll do one thing. I'll draw the difference here. Okay, so this is without access point. This is with access point. Now what happens if the access point is there? Now I have 3 devices, 3 connections. So same. Okay, no difference between without and with. Okay, just assume these lines are connections. Okay, not the physical wires. Now let's take a case of 4. Like I have 4 devices in my network. Now I need to connect all these to share the data. Again, with the case of access point, it only takes 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now let me take the situation where the access point is there. That means the mediator is not there. Access point is a mediator. Okay. That means if you want to send the data from here to here, you will send the data to access point, and access point will send it to here. If that access point or that mediator is not there, then you should form an individual connection to each one of them. This guy should have a connection to him and him and him. And this guy should have a connection to him, and him. I think, yeah. Okay. So now if you see how many connections are there here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 connections. But here, only 4 connections. Okay. Now let's take one more. Okay. 5 devices. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It 10 connections to form it, because there is no mediator, right? So if I have to send a packet from device 1 to device 2, I should have an individual connection between them. Okay, I cannot use device 2 to send the data to device 3. Okay, like let's say this is device 3, then I should have an individual connection between 1 and 3. Okay, so the number of connections became 10. Now if I have the same thing with an access point, now I only need 5 connections. So do you see the difference here? Okay, at 3, at the level of 3 devices, no difference. At the level of 6, at the level of 4, a difference of 2 is observed. at a level of 5, the difference, okay, of 5 is observed. Now, if I have to sum it up, okay, for n nodes, okay, n nodes means like any number, okay, and that number of devices can be anything, okay. So now for that particular thing, the formula without the access points is n into n minus 1 by 2. And with access point is n. So you can see the difference is going to increase exponentially. That means the more number of devices you have, the more the difference will be exponentially. For example, let's take a difference of 100. Okay, let's assume now from home network you have a startup, okay, where 100 users are getting connected to the internet. Now let's see the difference. Okay, so you have 100. So according to the formula, which is without the access point, this is a formula n, where n equal to 100. Okay, formula was n into n minus 1 by 2. Okay, so I have just replaced the n with 100, so 50. So basically it is 50 into 99, which I think roughly it is around 5,000. Yeah, roughly I'm taking, I don't know the exact answer. Okay, but now with the access point, you only need 50 connections. Now you can see the difference. It's literally around 4,950. Okay, so now they saw this problem historically, okay, and they said, okay, I think the best, I mean, right now we are using access point. Okay, now if you ask me a question, why do I need
I have
an
one
access
question.
point?
This n should be 100, yeah?
Sorry, yeah.
N should be 100 since we have 100 connections, yeah?
Correct.
On the access point side.
Oh, sorry, correct. Thanks for the correction. Yeah, so the difference is about 4,900. Thanks for that. Okay, so now if you guys should understand by this time, now why should we use an access point to get connected? Okay, so this is the problem. See, anything which you are going to study in this particular course is derived from a problem. So that means without this, they experienced the problem. So they invented this to solve that particular problem. So you should always understand that problem which it is trying to solve. So the use of this access point which we have is to solve that problem of number of connections. Okay, so which is one of the scaling problem. Okay, so such technologies. So here in wireless we have access point. Okay, but in the initial stages and for the wired connections, okay, wireless came after wired, right? So in those days, first device which they have invented was hub. Okay, so now then after that, one second. After that, they had something called as bridges. And after that, now the current era or the new generation of devices, which is switches. Okay, currently these and these are not used in the market, but you should understand them because they are present in the history. If you want to appreciate, um, if you want to appreciate switches, you should understand what are hubs and what are bridges. Without that, you won't appreciate switches. You just say, hey, these are a set of devices which we have. That's it. What is a great thing about them? Okay? So let me explain you about what is hub, what are the disadvantages of it, then what is bridge, and how bridge has solved the problems which are present in hub, and then from bridge to switches why we have gone. Okay, that history you need to know. Okay.
Nitin, hi.
Yeah.
Just one point here. As we have, just I will give one example. I want to make sure whether it will be acting as a access point or how, with or without access. Our mobile is connected to our. I can connect the smartwatch as well as the headphone at the same time.
Correct.
Yeah. So mobile, in this case, the mobile will be acting as an access point, right?
So now you said two things. Okay.
Yeah.
Access point responsibilities to connect you to rest of the devices. If you see here, in the two cases, you had your headphones, which is connected to your phone, and the smartwatch, right?
Yes.
So if this mobile phone is transferring some data from here to here, yes, in that particular case, I can, I mean, technically, I can say that it's an access point because it's acting as a mediator because and wirelessly. But at the end of the day, there should be some data between them. Okay, that for example, let's say you are using your smartwatch to control a song on your headphone or something like that. I mean, okay, unless until you have some data which is being shared between these two devices or this with something else, until on that point, you don't see that as an okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. What is this? Key. Okay. Cool. Let me explain you the first set of devices, which are hubs. Okay. So basically, as we said, like we need a centralized device to connect to the device. So we invented something called as hubs. Okay. So as we started connecting all of our wired devices, just like how we are connecting to our access point in the wireless. Okay. Access point came later. Okay. I took that because you guys can easily understand. Okay. But the problem with these hubs are, okay, yes, it is solving the problem of number of connections, but it is creating one more problem. Okay. So the problem is these are dumb devices. Okay. Dumb devices means they don't have software running on them. These are just pure hardware devices. Okay. No intelligence, just they are given with set of logic. Whenever you receive a packet, you send it to these devices. Okay. So the disadvantage of this is, for example, let's say there is a device 1, device 2, device 3, device 4. Okay. If device 1 wants to send the data to device 2, it cannot be done. That means it can be done, but it cannot just send it to device 2. Okay. Instead of that, if device 1 sends the packet to the hub will send it to 2 and also to 3 and 4. Why? Because the hub is a dumb device. It doesn't know that 1 wants to send the packet to 2 only because it doesn't have any software running on it. Okay, so it's a dumb device. Okay, that's the reason why it is still going to 3 and 4. All it does is hub, it will take the packet and reflect it to the other clients which it has. So similarly, if 2 wants to send the packet to 3, that is will be received by the hub and it will be reflected to 1, 3 and 4. If you observe carefully, there are two problems here. Okay, in the case, in first problem is 1 wants to send the packet to 2, but it is received by 3 and 4. The biggest issue is security. So that means 3 and 4 are receiving some data which is not intended to be received by them. If it is a confidential information, that is not a good thing. Okay. So then that is the first problem. Okay. We should restrict that. Okay. So we cannot allow someone to use our data or listen to our data. So for example, let's say I am having a confidential, what do you say? Some confidential sharing information. I'm sharing some confidential information. For example, let the salary slips of my team to the HR. Okay. So that should not be reflecting to my other clients. It should only go to the HR. Okay. So that is one of the issue. The second thing is performance. Okay. So that means these people are listening to us, getting some information which they don't need to receive. So that means every time a packet receives, unless and until it processes it, it cannot know whether it is for him or not. Correct? For example, let's say you received a letter. Unless and until you see the from and to address, you cannot decide whether it is a letter to you or not. Right? That means you are spending 2 seconds of your time to read that header, which is there. Header in the sense that envelope details. Okay? The same thing here also. So every time the 3 and 4 receives a packet, which is between 1 and 2, they have to still open the packet, not the entire packet, but at least the header, to know whether it is for him or not. Okay. So every time, so for example, let's say you have 10 packets in a, so basically at this point of time, there, there can be a million packets which can go in particular, not million, at least some thousands of packets which can be received in one particular time. So in those cases, what happens? So every time that particular packet comes, that means let's assume there are 1 lakh packets which goes or which is being received by which is being shared in that network. So in 1 second, okay, that we our devices are at a scale of that now. So 1,000 packets in that, let's say my packets, that means in these, my packets are only 100. But still, I have to open these 1 lakh packets. And let's assume for each packet takes 2 milliseconds. 2 milliseconds means 0.002. So that means my bandwidth or my CPU utilization power is getting wasted for opening each packet. Okay, so that is one more. So two issues which are there is, one is security, another is performance. So my performance getting degraded because my device is opening some packets which are unnecessary to open. Okay. To solve these two issues, we had the next device. Again, right now in today's network, we are not using hubs. Okay. So that means you, even though you go and get a job, you don't see these devices in the production network because they are totally replaced with something called as switches. Okay, that's where the second thing called came into picture, which is bridges. Bridges are a little bit intelligent. Okay, but the problem with these bridges are they only have two interfaces. Bridge, like the name itself says, right? Bridge. Bridge means connecting one end to another end. Okay, so the device will be there. It will have certain, let's say, it will be connected to certain 10 devices here, and it will be connected to 10 devices here. Okay. So now the question comes, if the packet comes here, it knows whether that destination is present in the right side part or left side part. If it is present in the left side part, it will send that packet to the exact device. If it is present in the right side part, it will go to the particular one. Okay. So in this particular case, you might still ask me, how is it solving the problem which the guy hub has created to us? Okay. It is not totally solving, but it is solving to an extent. Why? Because if you see the case number one, okay, case number one, where I have certain devices on my left and two right. Okay, now I'm taking the hub in between. So if the packet is received by the hub, what happens? It will send it to the right side devices and the left side devices, both. But in this case of bridge, okay, now the bridge has some database which it knows what is present on the right and what is present on the left. Okay, so now what it will do is it will only, for example, it knows that, okay, the packet came, the destination of this is on the right side, it will only send it to the right side device. Still, the issue is there, okay, but it's solved to an extent. Okay, so that is the issue which is present here because it is only doing or only having acting as a mediator between two different networks. So that's where they got the switches, which has
Bridgeway is going to act as only for one-way communication.
I didn't understand your question.
No, bridge is going to act as like only one-way communication.
One-way
Only it going
communication.
to only one side, or it won't pass the message to another side. Once if it pass to left, then it won't pass to right.
It will pass. It will pass the reverse way also. Okay, that means if the packet is coming from here to here, if it knows that the destination is on the left side, it will send it. So that means from here to here and here to here, it will come. But only thing is the other devices in the left side will not receive that packet if the destination is on the right. Understood?
Yeah, that's what I said. Like it will be like almost one way.
Correct. Okay.
Niti,
Yeah.
the bridge you mentioned, the database it will have, right? So that database, how it will store it or how it will fetch the data?
Wonderful question. Okay, that is where we are going to study about that in our course. Okay, which I'm going to explain. Okay, so the next set of devices. Okay, thanks for that question, but you will get the answer to that question maybe in the week 2 of our course. Okay, like how they are intelligent. Okay, not about the bridges, but switches. Okay, So now the switches, okay, with the switches, what happens is these are purely intelligent devices. Okay. So how they are intelligent is they know which device is present at which interface. Okay. So all that information is stored in a database, and that database or that particular table is called as a MAC address table. Okay. So now this, I mean, Anand, I think this is a question which you have asked, how this MAC address table is built. Okay. So that we have a clean, complete understanding of that in our particular course, which is during the week 2. Okay. How this database is done. Is it like automatic or is it manual? If it is manual, how? If it is automatic, how? All those questions will be clearly explained. Okay. But at this point of time, because we are just starting the course, just assume that there is a database. Okay. And based on this database, this switch knows which device is present in which. So if device 1 wants to send the packet to device 2, the device 1 or the switch will only send that packet to device 2. Okay, because the switch knows, okay, device 2, for example, let's say this is my interface 1, this is my interface 2, this is my interface 3, okay, and this is my interface 4. So switch will maintain, okay, device 1 is connected to interface 1, device 2 is connected to interface 2, device 3 is connected to the interface 3. Okay, so here I'm using numbers to identify, but we have something called as MAC address. Like that's why I mentioned MAC. Okay, again, don't worry about what is MAC and all. We have a separate session on that. What to understand what is MAC address and how it is assigned to the device, all those things. But in this table, it will be clearly written that, okay, if you want this, you go to here. If you don't, if you want to go from here to here, you use this interface like that. It will be clearly mentioned in this particular table. So whenever the packet comes, the switch goes and checks in this table, and whatever is present in this table, according to that, it will forward. In this case, device 1 wants to send the packet to device 2. So that will be received by the switch. Switch will go and check in the table. Okay, in the table, switch 2 is connected to the, device 2 is connected to the, here is the one. Device 2 is connected to the interface 2, so it will only send the packet to interface 2. Okay, so this is the switches, okay, which we have.
Okay, suppose if it won't maintain the database, which
Then
means
that case also
automatically
there
it
is a
will maintain the
mechanism.
database.
So basically, if it doesn't know, I'm good. That is one of the good questions. Okay, if it knows, it knows. It knows what to do. If it doesn't know,
Mostly it maintains the database, right? Switch means.
correct. It will maintain, but there are certain cases where it doesn't know and what it will do. Okay. For example, let's say you know me. Okay. So,
Yeah.
or you know someone. Okay. But if you don't know someone, let's say I gave you a file. Okay. And I said, please go to first floor and meet Raju and submit this file to him. Okay. Just in that shoes where you don't know who is Raju. But I told you, he's there on this first floor. And what you will do, you'll ask the people over there, hey, are you Raju? Are you Raju? Are you Raju? Are you? And then what happens? One person will be definitely Raju. Let's say there are 10 people on the first floor. One among them will be Raju. So he will respond to you saying that, hey, I am Raju. So now your memory is updated because you learned who is Raju now. Next time or the next day, if I say you the same job, for example, give you another file and say to hand over to Raju, now you will not ask to each and everyone. You directly go to that person and hand it over because you learned about him in the previous day. Understood?
Okay.
The same way the switch also does. Okay.
So here switch maintains the proper closed security and proper performance. The switch and the interface only.
Correct. Understood?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now here the switches are good, like we are able to connect to the devices. So till this point, what all we discussed? We discussed about the access points, okay, which are used for the wireless networks. Then for the wired networks, we have discussed about different set of devices, the hubs, the bridges, the switches, the advantages and disadvantages, and how they work at a very high level overview, not in-depth explanation, but we are going to understand about all of them in our 16-week program which we have. Okay, okay. So now what happens here is, see, now all of you guys need to understand from a scaling perspective. Okay. Now you have your home network, which you have connected to the switches. Good enough. Or let's say, now let's take the company's example. Okay. Leave our homes aside. Okay. Let's say you have a first floor and you have connected all the devices in the first floor. Let's say you have a second floor and you have connected all the devices in the second floor. Now, how are you going to connect these two devices? One way is you can have this direction. Okay. But let's say in the first floor, HR people are sitting, and in the second floor, accounts team is sitting. So now you need some kind of differentiator between these. Okay. So that is where you are going to introduce the concept of network. Actually, you're not going to connect them directly like this, because if you connect them like that, okay, then they won't be in two different networks. I mean, if you basically switches are the devices which just connect the devices in the same network. Okay, one second. For example, let's say you connect this link between these two. Then what happens is all these people will be in the same network. Okay, but you don't want that. You want to have a separation between these. Who is the person or which device does that for us? That is where the next device comes, which is the router. Okay, so the routers sit at this bifurcation point and they connect one interface to this and another interface to this, and they divide them into two networks. Okay, so that means all the people here are connected, all the people here are connected, but in two different networks. Okay, so you might ask me, why should I divide? Why can't I keep all of them in same network? That's a disturbance, right? For example, if there is a meeting happening for HR people, why do you need to involve an accounts person into that? Right? Accounts team is different. Let them deal separately. HR people is different. Let them have it separately. Okay, so when you do that separation logically according to their roles and responsibilities, you will have a good control on your networks. Okay, if you combine all of them, you will lose that control on your networks. Okay, for example, let's say there is a server here, which you want to allow to HR people, but don't want to allow it to accounts people. How are you going to do it when all of them are in the same group? Okay, so that is very important. Okay, what I'm trying to explain it to you is, okay, router is a device which divides the networks. But why do you need to divide? Because that gives you control on your network. Okay, that is the reason why we are doing it. Okay, so now we have a good understanding of all the stuff. Okay, now we understood the routers which are sitting to divide the networks. Then we understood the switches which are there to connect the different devices in our networks to solve that problem of number of connections. Okay, which is there here. Okay, this is a very simple network. Okay, very good, clean network. Okay, but now if you see, there are certain problems here. Okay, right now, these only the people in HR can communicate to, what do you say, the accounts. But what if I want to communicate to internet? I don't have the connectivity. So now that is where I need to have that, get that connection. Internet. Okay. Now let's assume I have opened another branch. Let's say this is in Delhi. My business has expanded and I have opened a branch in Bangalore also. That's where also I have my team sitting. How are you going to get connected between these two? See, now the things are getting interesting, right? Now that you understood these devices, which are different types of devices, now see the business thing. Okay, you are increasing. Tomorrow, what happened? You opened a data center for your services. Okay, previously you had deployed your data center in your Delhi network only, just a small room. But your company expanded, you deployed a separate data center. How are you going to connect your data center to your branches? And how are you going to allow the users? Things are going little complicated, right? But interesting. Okay. That is what we are going to study in this course. Okay. So all the stuff. So that means how can you manage your WAN networks? You have your data center sitting here. You have your WAN edge. I mean, all these are new terms which you might not understand. What is data center? What is WAN? And you have your network services sitting. Okay. All these are new terms which I am introducing at this point of time. But trust me, by end of this course, you understand all of these things. Okay. So how are you going to manage it? How can you connect your branches? Let's say you are having you have a good idea of what do you say? A bank. Okay, you are opening the branches across the India. How are you going to connect all of these things to your branches? How are you going to manage them? Okay, okay. So that is where we are going to study. So now coming to the question of what you are going to study in this course with respect to this. Now that you understood what, what is what in the sense like what you need to do. Okay. So now let me explain you this like the entire stuff. Okay. So before that, I would like to take some questions if you have any. Any questions? All good?
Sir.
Yeah.
Actually, this 16 weeks means there's only CCNA 16 weeks, if not.
CCNA and CCNP ENARSI, and after that the firewall will start.
Okay, means
CCNA and
first 8 weeks CCNA, after that you're going to tell CCNP.
yeah, that flow is what I'm going to explain it to you. Okay.
Okay,
Understood?
Sir, out of
this
Sorry?
so daily 9 to 10, sir, classes will
9 to
be, or if
10:30.
not, the timings will be changed.
9 to 10:30.
9 to
You can assume
10:30.
that.
Yeah, Monday to Friday.
Correct. Monday to weekdays, Monday to Friday.
Okay, okay. First you will say CCNA, after that you're going to tell
So
CCNP.
this is going to be the thing. Okay. So if you see here, so week one, we are going to focus on the basics. So I'll explain that stuff also so that it is clear to you guys, like what is what and what you can expect. Okay. So
Uh,
basically, this is how it is going to be. First week is going to be purely on the basics. I don't want to explain
I
each and
can't see
every one
your
thing.
screen, sir, what you're
One second.
writing.
One second. Sorry for that. And thanks for informing. I hope you can see it now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yeah.
basically, I have the 16 weeks which I have prepared. So basically, week one is going to be the what do you say? The basics. Okay. So as I said, I'm going to start from scratch. Scratch in the sense like no assumptions are made that you need to know this, you need to know that. Everything which is required for you to understand the advanced topics, I am going to set up the base of that in this week. Okay. So week one is purely on the basics. Okay. Then that is where the interesting question which was asked in the particular session, which is how does the switches learn about that? So that is where we are going to everything related to the switches we are going to study in the week two. Okay, these are the topics. I don't want to go into depth of it, but trying to understand you the flow so that you guys understand what can you expect on what week. Okay. Then we are going to understand the routing part of it. So this is very important, guys. Okay, so if you want me to rate these things, switching is important. I mean, everything is important, but this stuff which you are seeing here, the routing and the OSPF. I mean, I will just mark these things. These are very, very, very important if you want to crack the interviews. Okay, so don't miss these sessions. I am not saying you have to miss the other sessions, but these are very extremely important. If you don't join the, what do you say? If you don't join these sessions, you will feel lost. So I would highly advise you not to miss these week 3, week 4, week 5 is important, week 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Basically, everything is important. I cannot. Sorry. Basically, everything which is mentioned here is what I mean. See, all these topics which I have kept here, the BGP, very important. Okay, EIGRP, so I would say either EIGRP or OSPF one is enough for the if you're purely thinking about the interview perspective, if you are good with any one of these protocols, it's good. But I advise you guys to go with the OSPF because it is open standard. But EIGRP is also equally good. Okay, equally important. And yeah, so if you see this particular plan, so it will take 5 weeks for us to complete CCNA, 5 weeks to 6 weeks. This can change also. That means it's not like in week 6, definitely we are going to discuss these topics only. For example, let's say you have more and more amount of doubts. Okay, so then what happens? I might not complete the content. So that means it can extend. Okay, this is, what do you say? An expectation that this is what we discuss in each course, each week. Okay, but in some cases, I have seen that. Okay, in my previous batches, people will ask a lot of questions. Then I cannot skip them. Just saying that okay, you cannot. We need to complete the syllabus. So as that in that cases, we might extend. For example, let's say people have more questions on the BGP. So then we might take 1 or 2 days of week 13. That doesn't mean that I'll compromise on this. So what happens is those 2 days will get extended to this. So in short, what I am trying to explain is these are the topics which you are going to study in this program. Okay, so that means the switching fundamentals. Okay, first week is about the basics, then the switches, switching fundamentals, then everything about the routers. Okay, so here certain times the things get increase also depending on the content and the questions which you are asking. But at the end of the day, this is how the flow would look like. Okay. So still, if you have any questions on all these things, okay, here the timings are mentioned clearly. Timings for the people who don't know, it's from 9 p.m. to 10:30. Again, depending on the questions, this might little bit go to 11 p.m. Not every session, but again, as I said, like depending on the questions. So people who I will complete the topic by 10:30. People who have the questions can stay. If you don't have questions, you can drop off also. That's up to you. Okay. So this is a Monday to Friday program between 9 to 10:30. These
And
are
sir,
the,
I have one doubt that those who have enrolled for Encore also.
sorry.
Means I have enrolled for Encore also in this course,
It will be mapped to
CCNA and
something
NRC. I have enrolled
uh,
for Encore also.
do
So
we
for
have
that, how is
Gaurav here? Gaurav, are you there to answer this question? Gaurav or anyone from networking? Yeah, so to answer your question, if you are enrolled for the CCNP and core, you will be mapped to that particular batch. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, so if you have paid for it, you will get that. No worries.
I'm also Encore only, sir. CCNA and CCNP Encore and Palo Alto.
Okay, whatever you have been enrolled, you will get that. But yeah,
Niti,
yeah.
one point here. As what we topics are covering here, right, during
Mm-hmm.
the session,
Uh-huh.
can you prefer particular books or
Okay.
particular any to read it in a fundamental such as in a theoretical also? Can you
I will.
refer any good book?
yeah, so basically we have this, one second. I'll give that book names to you. CCNA book. So basically for CCNA, you have these books. Yeah, these are the books, which is CCNA 200-301 official cert library. Okay, so this is one which you can, these are in 2 volumes, volume 1 and volume 2. And for the CCNP also, I would recommend the same book, which is, so basically these are released from Cisco. So even I am referring to these only. So I will be explaining from this. So yeah, these are the books which you can, for Encore, people for the Encore, this is a book. For NRC, this is a book. So the code is, or the book is this. So which you can get it either, you can download it from somewhere or you can buy these books as per your, whatever the plan you have.
Hello, sir.
Whether this networking will give us this book
I don't think they will give this to
downloading.
you, but I
Okay.
can, I mean, you can easily find it. Like you can, no need to struggle a lot. You can directly go,
Yeah, sir. Hello.
you will get.
Sir, any kind of
Fine.
notes we get?
So
What?
basically, my way of teaching is going to be like this. So you will get this from me, which is what you have already seen. Like I will be writing on the screen and explaining everything stuff. So it's not like a PPT thing. So whatever I give or whatever I use in my videos, I'll get it. I'll deliver it to you. Today we don't have any images, but going forward, right now, along with the whiteboard, you will see the images also. So basically, everything whichever I wrote in the lecture. So today we have written something, right? All that will be given to you as a part of the notes. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
A small request. What is the difference between Encore and NRCs?
So basically, Encore is an extension of CCNA. Okay. But NRC is specifically focused on routing. Okay. Because like,
Come
see,
again, sir. Come again. I'm not getting you. Sorry.
okay, so it is about this. Okay. Encore is an extension of NRC, sorry, CCNA. So in CCNA, we have everything at a basic level. Okay. That means like you can assume 10-20%. Okay. What is actually present in the market. Next, after that, okay, we have Encore, which takes that 30% to 50%. Okay.
Okay.
50 or 60, 70%, I can say. Okay. Not 50 also.
CCNA.
60. CCNP Encore. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what is the difference between choosing an Encore? Okay, I'll explain it to you using this way. Cisco certification path. Yeah. So now what happens? So this is the thing. Okay. I hope you can see the screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So CCNA is the first level. Then we have the CCNP. In CCNP, we have the first one is which is a concentration. Okay, which is an extension of it. But if you see after the one, we have the specific branches. This is for the collaboration. We are going to use this. Okay. So in this, we have the NRC, which is going to focus purely on the routers. That means routing. Then we have SWI, which is about the design. So that means these things will already be part of the Encore and CCNA. But at the CCNA, we will discuss about design from up to 30%. In Encore, that will go up to 60%. But if you want to master design, then you have to choose this particular, which is SD1. Similarly, so in CCNA, we will discuss about routing up to 30%. Encore up to, what do you say, 60%. Okay. But in NRC, we will take that to 100% and we will explain. That's the difference. Okay. So because in what happens when you go and take a job in these companies, you will not be working on all these things. For example, or you will not at a time working on the design, wireless, automation, all these things you will at a time will not work. Okay. You will be mapped to a department which is handling that. Okay. But to clear these interviews, Okay, NRC is marked as important because routing is key for any interview you go. Okay, any interview you go, there will be a question on BGP and OSPF, definitely. So that's the reason of going with the NRC. Okay, so everything with respect to the routing, you will clearly understand in this particular program. Okay, understood?
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
still want to know, what you can do is just search about this, take these codes, go to the, what do you say? Go to the Google and just say 350.401 ENCORE topics. Okay, and 350, 300, 410 NRC topics. Then you will clearly get a difference, clear understanding between the topics. Like if you are looking for topic level difference. Okay.
Yeah.
And along with this, it's not about just topics which we are going to discuss. As I said, the labs will be included. So every particular theory which we are going to study is going to be applied as a lab. And we are going to study with respect to the interviews also. So that means, okay, this is the topic. You have implemented it. How should you prepare it for the interview? So that information or that knowledge also will be showed, throughout our courses. That means it is not like this specific time I'm going to say about this. Every topic, whenever I'm saying it, okay, this is important piece, or this is what the clarity which you should have while telling the answer to the interviewer. Okay, those discussions are already part of these weeks. Okay, you might, if you like thinking, okay, here there is nowhere mention about the interview something or how to prepare for the interviews. It's already integrated into that. So for example, when you're discussing about OSPF, we are going to see how the interviews or the different types of questions which the interviews ask and what answers you have to give to them. Okay, so that means it's part of this week only. Okay, if there is no separate going to be, okay, this at this time you have to do it like this, like this. Okay, and the topic comes, the question comes, and the answers also will be same. All I need from you guys is to ask the questions and get them clarified. But this course is designed in such a way that you are going to get everything end to end in the sense, like you will have to join, you'll get the theory, you get the practical, you get on how to apply it in the interviews. Everything will be clearly discussed in this program. Understood? Any other questions you have?
Sir, what about the practicals?
Practicals will also be there. Okay, so that means whenever
So,
the theory is completed, I'm going to take you guys to the practical, explain it, and show it to you, all those stuff live.
so the practical will be the live or in the packet tracer?
Depends on the topic. Initially, we are going to go with the packet tracer, but later we will shift to the platform which is EVNG based. So there we will practice the things. So first, for the first few topics, at least for the first 2 weeks, it's going to be the packet tracer. Then after that, we are going to shift it to when we hit the routing section, we are going to shift to the another thing called as EVNG, and all those things you will get it as a part of the course. That means you will get a link. So no need to struggle to set up the lab. You just have to click on that link. They will, the team will give the username and password. You have to enter them, and tada, you will have the lab sitting, which is ready to go. For you guys to practice. Any other questions? All
Means
good?
notes will not be there. So for definitions, or if not, for
Sorry?
example, are you getting me, sir?
Sorry, Sanjay, can you please repeat? I didn't understand.
Yeah, means what I'm saying means, sir, for example, today you introduced one topic for us.
Okay.
Means the topic notes will be, you will not be guide for us, sir. If not, we should take that from outside. Means today you explain about switch, for example. That switch definition we need to see from Chrome, or if means outside, or if not, you will guide. You will be.
So basically, a PDF will be automatically getting attached to your what do you say, the course, okay, which is prepared specifically by the networkings.
Okay.
Okay. So in that, these things which I have explained will be automatically included. Okay. So no need to struggle for that notes part. Okay. So it's already, it's I think it's a 180-page document, okay, which is specifically highlighting the points which are important and kept it. So that can be given to you, okay, as a part of the notes. And along with that, as I said, if you are still wanted to learn more, that means even more. So those are like simple to read kind of documents. But let's say if you want to go even more further in terms of reading, then these are the books which I recommend, because these are the ones which I do follow, okay, which is CCNP. You can just type this thing, CCNP ENARSI Advanced Routing Official Certification Guide. Similarly, for the CCNA, you can type the same. So what these documents will have is, these are 1,000, more than 1,000. That means CCNA volume 1 is 1,000. So volume 2 is 700. This is around, I think, 700. So altogether, it is a 2,500-page document if you want to read this. Okay. But the same thing is converted into those 180-page document that will be getting as a note, along with what I teach in my, what do you say?
Okay.
That will be given to you. Okay. If you want complete, these are the books. If you want short summary, easy to read, like a quick recap, those are the notes. And if you want to exactly know what is discussed in the lecture, then my notes, which I have like written